Nice work, man. Nice work. Oh. I knew this was going to be a good session when I walked in and people are sitting on the aisles in every row. Just one thing I want to call out first. On your slides, for people who want to learn more, you have PPC University at WordStream. That is just a huge collection of resources that you've accumulated for people who just getting into PPC or advanced skills. So I just want to make sure people know about that.
Thanks, Cyrus. I'll give you the $20 later.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I got to, before we it's 25. Lots of questions from the audience, but I had a couple of my own. So you talk about this technique of like sort of throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks with Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Does it have to be in that particular order? Can you throw things on the wall at Facebook and LinkedIn first and then try it on Twitter and Facebook? Or is this a very defined process that you have?
On Facebook, you live and die based on your engagement rate.
Okay.
So there's a penalty. If you post low engagement organic content to your Facebook page, and if it doesn't do well, you will get into a death spiral because the fewer people who engage with your Facebook content, the fewer people will see your content in the future. And so I don't like to do any experimentation of content on my Facebook wall. I prefer to do it on platforms where there is no penalty for experimentation. So for example, I will try out offers on AdWords, on email marketing, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. They all have different algorithms, but there's no penalty for being wrong.
Gotcha.
When I promote something to Facebook, it has to be a unicorn. It has to have proven itself, because I don't want to have any chance for it to not to have a 25 or more % engagement rate.
So Facebook save for your top performing ads. So you and I are both really active on Twitter. It's pretty easy for someone like us to test things out. But what about if your company has no followers at all, you're just getting started, and you want to generate a lot of ideas? You don't have that built-in audience to test your best stuff. How do you get started there?
Well, in some ways, social media ads favor companies that don't have big followings because you can just spend a little bit of money, which is easier to do than generate hundreds of thousands of fans, and just target people using remarketing or target people using a custom list and similar audiences. So you can still experiment. It's just going to cost a few dollars to try that out, but you will get from having done that, you will gain valuable audience insights into what are the demographics and interests of the people who really are interested in the products and services that you are selling.
Oh, cool. Okay, I want to get into some of the Slido questions. A lot of people are asking about ad blockers. How do they influence social media ads?
They don't.
They don't.
One of the reasons why I'm so excited about social media ads is because ad blockers almost exclusively target display ads on the web. So if you're browsing like CNN.com, those ads, those web ads get blocked out. But Facebook and Twitter are mobile apps, and it is against the terms of service to actually change the appearance within a mobile app. And so they are actually unaffected by ad blockers at all. And I think that's just another reason why I'm very bullish on social media advertising.
Yeah. Should people be, for those display ads, should people be concerned about the ad blockers, people who are still, use those channels a lot?
You absolutely should be concerned, because a lot of companies use display advertising for branding purposes. Now, the thing about ad blockers is that you just accrue impressions, but you're not really sure whether or not people saw the ad or not. In native, like the ad formats for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc., are all native in-stream ads. So there's no notion of average position. They all show up just like the other updates. And so there's a much higher probability that people actually saw the ads on paid social.
Okay, let's say, let's go back to your unicorns a second. You post a unicorn, and it does really well, and you showed an example where you just posted posted the same one a week later. How do you know when to stop using that unicorn and take a different angle, and when do you know when to continue with it?
Unicorns are so rare and so beautiful that if you find one, you should really use it as much as you can. Like, think about it this way. If you have $1,000 to spend next month on social media ads and you have a unicorn today, you should not only deploy all of your social media budget for this month on that unicorn, but you should be stealing from next month and the following months to apply to the current unicorn. They're very unusual. You know how it is, Cyrus, you're doing something on Facebook and suddenly you have something that got like 100 likes and you're like, wow. You never know when they're going to happen. And so when they do arrive, I would be very, very aggressive.
A lot of B2B marketers in the audience today. Any special tips for B2B, or does this apply to all audiences?
This absolutely applies to B2B audiences. People don't realize how much data there is in Facebook in terms of job titles and you can target specific companies where people work or specific interests that they have and remarketing. I think these are all very B2B friendly ad targeting formats like the call buttons and the lead generation ad formats that are actually much better for B2B than even B2C.
Okay. So that's a question I wanted to ask you. When you're building your list of influencers, if you're starting from scratch and you don't have an email database, you don't have a big list of Twitter influencers, where are you finding those people?
I hired an intern at $7 an hour, and I told him to search Google News for the topics.
Is that legal, $7 an hour?
He was a high school student.
Okay.
It's not that difficult, but I had him search Google News for certain keywords, and I asked him to look for the names and emails and Twitter IDs and Facebook IDs of the people who were writing content related to the stories that I was interested in. It took him roughly 40 hours of work to create a list of about 1,000 people. The interesting thing about the custom audiences is you can target by email, which is hard to find, but you can also target by Facebook or Twitter ID, which is not hard to find. Usually they'll have like a public Twitter page or a public Facebook page that just shows your name and picture. You might not see all the updates, but you will see that is his username on the URL.
And then you might end up with several different influencers lists based on the address that you have, whether it be Twitter or Facebook or email.
That's correct. And also, I also segment my influencer lists based on what their topic of interest is, whether they're into business startups or online marketing or entrepreneurship, etc.
Yeah, that's really smart. Intern, $7 an hour.
That's a funny guy.
Okay, so here's a question. Does Google worry about, very early on you showed the decline in desktop searches. Do you think that Google worries about lost revenue due to increased mobile searches and decline of desktop?
Of course they're worried about it. It's the biggest existential threat to their business.
Yeah, but it doesn't, at least what I've seen, it doesn't seem to be happening yet. Like their revenue is killing it lately. They seem to, someone just came out with a study recently, and it was on Search Engine Land. I can't remember who wrote it, but it seems like Google's having success with putting more ads into the mobile interface, but pushing all the regular content down.
So that's their current strategy, but it has diminishing returns. Like you can't have like 10 ads in a mobile search results page. Maybe we can have 3 or 4 or maybe 5, but at some point you're going to hit a tipping point. You see what I mean?
Yeah. So great question here. We talked about creating those custom lists and getting people's email address or Twitter handle or Facebook. Martin asked, what's your experience with services that promise to identify users cross-platform? Have you used any of these, and do they actually work?
Well, I don't think that It's not that difficult to upload a list into Google, Facebook, and Twitter. The challenge with a lot of these services is that they have so much markup. So the way that they make money is that they charge you, 50% more than what you would spend on just the media purchase for those clicks on AdWords or on Facebook or on Twitter.
Yeah.
And so, if you have some time and you want to eliminate the middleman, you can do it yourself. If convenience is very important for you, then you could use one of those services, although they don't have the same degree of targeting options as the platforms do natively. So I'm not a huge fan of those solutions.
I would say if you are interested in those solutions, Mike King, who spoke at Marketing Fest the last couple of years, he writes and talks about this a lot. You can go look at some of his past presentations. Okay, 2 more questions before we break. And this is kind of awesome because we're getting through all the questions on Slido for the first time. What is the effect of Google product listing ads on brand recall? Is it higher from text ads? What do you think about that?
Well, so product listing ads are... They do much better for brand recall, and you can actually use photos and images that inspire. For the same reasons why I'm interested in Google product listing ads, I'm also interested in the Facebook ads because they have so much real estate available for images and more creativity and content that you can put in there. The new carousel ads, for example, in Facebook allow you to add 5 images, and you can tell a story of like all the different products that you're selling. I think it's very, very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, final question. What do you think when you're creating search ads? What do you think about the use of? Oh, we're going to do this.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's do it.
No. Okay. We'll just get to the question.
Okay. What do you think about generic keywords? What do you think about generic keyword search ads increasing product demand? If that makes sense.
It doesn't really.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time someone formulated in their head the idea to search for, a hotel in Prague, they were already in the market for that. So that's the problem with search ads. You're just harvesting the existing demand. The growth is coming at the expense of your competitors. It's not truly creating new growth. One challenge, that's fine to beat out your competitors, but it doesn't last forever. Like if you already have 70 or 80% of the market share, to get that extra, 5% or 10% of market share, it becomes increasingly expensive and diminishing returns. So that's why I'm suggesting sort of a 50-50 strategy between, harvesting existing demand versus, creating new demand for people who aren't already aware of the products and services that you're selling.
Yeah. Larry, do you have to take off right away, or will you be around a little bit if people have some questions after the session?
I'll be here all today and at the party this
Party
evening.
tonight.
And I'm going back to Boston tomorrow afternoon.
All right. He's going to take a picture. So let's give a big hand to Larry Kim. Woo! Hey, good job, man.